Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have something really special for you. I have a project that is not Ponzinomics, that is not a node, but it is something which is a long-term hold and it's gonna give you some amazing returns if I am right. I've got an entire thing prepared here for you, so I want to tell you about the project that will solve Ethereum gas fees, will solve Ethereum transaction times, will revolutionize Web3, is disregarded by the big investors, it's also ignored by noob investors, and has a potential of 10 to 20x in 1 to 2 years. And 10 to 20x is my conservative numbers. So please be patient with this video, because this video is a research thesis and not a hype shilling. So I'm not shilling you a product, I'm actually putting numbers and putting the facts on this presentation to show you what I see this project being and evolving into, and why I think there is a really good chance that it will scale up so fast and it will bring you so much money in the future. And the best thing, this project actually utilizes the security of the Ethereum network. Before we get into what the project is, let's look at the issues with cryptocurrency in general right now. So there is something that's called a blockchain trilemma. It is a combination of security, decentralization, and the speed. So the blockchain trilemma addresses the challenges developers face in creating a blockchain that is scalable, decentralized, and secure without compromising on any facets. So as you can see here, I've got a couple examples. So we've got a Bitcoin, which is your very common crypto. Let me do this here. So we've got a Bitcoin here and Ethereum. Both are secure, both are decentralized, but both are very slow if you compare them to things like AVAX or Polygon. On the other hand, we have a Polygon and Solana network, which are very fast, but security and decentralization gets compromised, because in order to have speed, you generally have a blockchain that is a little bit more centralized. Now, if you don't know, Polygon has actually forked their entire blockchain at the end of last year because of some security issue. So without telling anyone, they just like, hey, we're gonna fork it. And it only takes about 5 people to agree on it, which are at the top. Here we go. Solana keeps having a single point failure because it is a centralized blockchain. Okay, so now that you kind of understand the issue with Ethereum right now, the whole blockchain trilemma, let's look at how Ethereum is planning to solve this issue. So we've got scalability options for Ethereum. Currently, Ethereum does about 30 transactions per second. Once it goes to Ethereum 2.0, we'll be looking at about 4,000 transactions per second, but it's still not enough. It's still very slow. One way to do this is to use Plasma. Plasma is basically creates two tunnels, actually at one tunnel between two people. So person 1, person 2, they want to transact with each other. This is similar to what Lightning Network uses like, and they open a channel between them and they deposit money in here. And afterwards the channel is closed, so it's kind of on the side of the Ethereum network. It's pretty easy to run, but it's limited. You cannot just, one shop cannot use this as a viable solution, because you need to have hundreds and thousands of channels. Second way is side chains. So the way side chains work is basically you would have a Ethereum blockchain, and then off of that you would have a smaller blockchain. And that's a sidechain, it runs parallel, and then it feeds information to the Ethereum blockchain. The benefit of these is, even though they are faster, there is still issues in terms of getting them operating together in unison. So sometimes these sidechains may be not EVM compatible. Polygon is technically a sidechain because it's off Ethereum. And then lastly, we have something that is called Rollups. And Rollups is something that Vitaliks is quite bullish on, because even he posted a thesis calling, what was it called? Rollup-centric future of Ethereum. So let's have a look at Rollups, and I promise you this is the last technical thing that we're going before I tell you what the project is. So we've got optimistic rollups, And we've got the ZK rollups. ZK rollups are zero knowledge proof. Basically, they do all the transactions. You've got Ethereum level 1, and then on top of it build Ethereum level 2, or whatever you want to call the second chain. So it's built on top, which means Ethereum still executes and proves all the transactions. ZK rollups, what they do is they post a ZK snark, which is a proof of all the transactions that has happened on this layer 2, and then Ethereum can just accept that proof and say, yep, that's all good to go. Now, EVM compatibility is a little bit difficult with this because ZK snark rollups are actually really computational heavy, and there is a lot of programming that goes into creating them. So to create something that is also EVM compatible is really, really difficult. They are also heavy rollups, which means if you use them, you end up running machines that an average consumer cannot. That's why optimistic rollups tend to be a little bit better in that case. From their name optimistic, it means that all the transactions are accepted as correct unless proven otherwise. So they go by fraud proof. If one person posted the results of all the transactions they got rolled up and then post them to Ethereum, and another person goes, you know what, I think that's wrong. Basically, what happens in that case? So person who posted, person number 1, they put up a bond saying, hey, my transactions are correct. This is money to prove it. The second person goes, no, your transactions are wrong, and here's the money to prove it. In this case, because both parties put up the collateral, if the transactions are right, this gets cut. If the transactions are wrong, this gets cut. So one person loses money. This incentivizes everyone to act in a good faith and good behavior, which means if you make a mistake, your money gets cut, which is not ideal for anyone. So these occasions will be very, very rare. So that's the bond slashing. So you slash the bond that's been put up. One person is enough to dispute the entire network, which kind of makes it really secure. And one negative about it is they actually take 1 week to withdraw to layer 1. Because of this whole roll-up system, it can take a while before someone can dispute the transactions, which means you need to wait a week to withdraw from layer 2 to Ethereum on level 1. But the benefits of the roll-ups is the fact that once Ethereum 2.0 introduces sharding, which is literally the first step, we can get up to 100,000 transactions per second, which is ridiculous. Okay, so the project we're going to be talking about is based on optimistic rollups, and the project is called Métis. I don't know how to pronounce it. There is apparently a whole discussion online about how to pronounce it properly. I'm just going to call it Métis. Doesn't matter. Métis differentiates from all the other layer 2s in the way that we're going to go through and talk about, but it is a layer 2 solution for Ethereum. It is also NFT file storage. It is DAC, which we'll cover very shortly. It's got builder mining, Polis middleware, and ecosystem dark ground. So let's have a look into one of each of these elements, and this is going to be a full deep dive, and I'll try to explain it to you as much as I possibly can, and we'll see what makes Métis special. So let's start. It's a layer 2 solution, so it's gonna solve the problems of Ethereum network. Based on the optimistic rollups, which we already discussed how they work, introduces arrangers on top of validators. So normally when optimistic rollups or any protocols built on optimistic rollup, you've got transactions that goes to validator and then gets posted to Ethereum. So transactions made goes to validator and then posts to Ethereum. For Métis, what they decided to do is they're going to take transactions, post them to rangers, which also have the bonds and slashing mechanism. Rangers will then go to validators and then go to Ethereum network. So what this does, it creates an extra added layer of security for the protocol. And then we have slashes withdrawal fees time down to minutes. So as I said, normally it takes 1 to 2 weeks for optimistic rollups to get to Ethereum blockchain. In this case, we talking about minutes, which is fantastic. This is revolutionary. That's what they call it. Then we have multiple chains and sequencers. So instead of having, you've got your layer 1, which is your Ethereum, and then people would have layer 2 on top of it, which is a single chain. This is actually a lot of different chains with a lot of different sequencers that will be able to talk to each other, that will be able to process information faster. So it's going to be faster, cheaper, and more secure. That's what this will give you. Then let's go to the right and see our NFT file storage. So as you might know, NFTs are NFTs. You know what NFTs are by this stage. Storing NFTs is not a big issue if it's a cat JPEG. If it's a, ape yacht club. It becomes very difficult if it is a song. In that case, storing things on blockchain becomes extremely expensive. And if you need to store a song or a movie or a dataset, it can be quite intensive in terms of capital. So what they're doing is they're introducing CID and IPFS. So for anyone who is into computers, IPFS is Interplanetary File System, which is basically your standard internet. What they're doing here is because they can't keep everything on blockchain. So what they decided to do is decided to put a lot of things on the internet. In order to retrieve something from this IPFS out of this internet, you need the CID, which is, I think it's content identifier or something like that. I'm not too sure what it stands for. But the point is, this is a string of numbers and letters that will identify your content. For example, if you have a song and then that song changes, the SID number will change as well because it derives from the content itself. This content will be stored on blockchain, which means you get the security of keeping your content on the blockchain, but then once you type in a password and a username and whatnot and unlock this number, then it sends requests to IPFS and gets the content to you. This is quite unique solution for something that's generally pretty expensive venture in terms of capital to store something on the blockchain. Next we go to DAC. All of us know and all of us been heard by a few DAOs. Now DAO doesn't mean a rebasing token, and I hate when people refer to rebasing tokens as DAOs because it's just inaccurate. What DAO stands for is decentralized autonomous organization, which means organization that can run without any leadership or anything. Now, Métis is introducing a DAX, decentralized autonomous company. And that is slightly different. So you can create a DAC with a click of a button. You don't need to set up difficult protocols or all the rules for different people. You simply click a button, and on a Métis platform, you can create your own DAC. It can be anything from your personal company to a multi-million-dollar company. Users can have roles, permissions, HR, project management, payroll, communications, and more. Talking back about Wonderland, you can actually create a DAC where you can assign a role of HR to, for example, Daniele. You can assign permissions such as multisig or allowing access to treasury to different people. You can have the management part associated with some people, and all of them will have chance to make decisions, all of them will have chance to take votes, and so on and so forth. So this basically the functioning of the entire proper company, but put into a smart contract. These smart contracts are pre-written, which means you have a lot of templates to work with to start as well. So you don't need to be a genius to come in and start setting all of this up. It's all done for you. You just come in and click one button and create your own DAC and then create your roles. The use case for this is DeFi, NFTs, dApps, DACs, launchpads, etc. So there is plenty of things you can do with this. Now moving on from DACs, we've got Polis middleware. What is middleware? Middleware is something that stands between the user and the coder. This is in the middle. So something to help the coders to interact with the platform, interact with the code, interact with the accessibility features to make life easier. For users, it's necessarily for them to interact with the top layer of the middleware, which is UX, UI, whatever you want to call it. For devs, it is to ease the management, maintenance, and interaction of smart contracts. For end user, just another wallet with reputation power. And this reputation power is something that Métis DAO wants to implement as well. So reputation power is basically looking at all your actions on the blockchain and assigning a reputation score based on those actions. So based on those actions, so if you have a good employee in your DAC and they perform a lot of good actions, you can say, hey, your reputation power has gone up quite a bit. We might either promote you, or we might weigh your decision over other people's decision. So basically it's a way of building your reputation, but it's more tangible and number kind of way. Then we have builder mining. So with most places you mine by staking your coins, what they're doing is they allowing the builders who are actually utilizing their ecosystem to mine the tokens. So 50% of all Métis tokens is reserved for community mining or minting. The DACs are incentivized with Métis tokens for every transaction on the network. So the more transactions on the network you do, the more Métis tokens you will get or you will mint. So it's an interesting way to incentivize people to succeed in terms of their DACs. So 100 million ecosystem development grant exclusively for Métis projects. Genesis DAC was created to support promising projects on the platform. So the Genesis DAC, the first DAC that was created on the Métis ecosystem, got allocation of $100 million in order to support the promising projects in the future, which is quite a lot, and I think it's working pretty well when we look at the total value locked on the network and how it's progressing. I think it's pretty awesome. Okay, let's move to the next step, which is Métis as the layer 2, the infrastructure for the Web3 world. You've got your infrastructure at the bottom, which is the Métis layer 2 public testnet and mainnet. Mainnet is called Andromeda. And what I would like to add to here is actually Ethereum network, because that's kind of your layer 1. Then you've got your infrastructure on layer 2, which is the testnet and mainnet for Métis. Then you have the middleware. That's the middleware we were talking about, and that's your wallets, domain management, deployment, smart contract management, template SDKs and APIs. You've got the DAC framework, which includes voting, task management, knowledge management, finance, token requests, investments, mining, bridging, and payroll, and more to come. This is important. And then you've got your dApps, which is DEXs, Tribe, Launchpads, and so on and so forth. Andromeda mainnet is launched with EVM equivalence. This is an important point. And multiple VMs, ranges, and peer nodes active. So Andromeda mainnet is the mainnet for a Métis DAO. The mainnet is launched with EVM equivalence, which means if you have an app on Ethereum, all you have to do is Control-C and then go to Métis. Control-V. That's it. You've just created you launched your app on the Métis architecture. This this what means EVM equivalence. So it is very similar to EVM or Ethereum virtual machine, which is Ethereum built, which is quite amazing because think about all the projects that need to be taken from Ethereum and then recoded and put it on Avalanche, for example. This is way easier and this is way faster. Then we have all the projects and the ecosystem of the Métis DAO. This is not a complete list. I think they actually updated it since I've taken this, but this looks nicer and it just fits my presentation a little bit better. I hope you forgive me for that. But yeah, a lot of places already started launching on Métis and it's growing pretty quickly. When it comes to total value locked, Métis is currently number 4 with $402 million locked, and it's going pretty quickly. Now you can see that Optimistic Rollups and ZK Rollups are number 1s here, but that's of course. So I guess the next question is, what is the catch? If it's so good and revolutionary, why people are not investing into it? Well, there are a couple of reasons. So first of all, Memo Labs based decentralized storage is only launching in Q1. The Memo Labs based decentralized storage will actually allow the network to be much faster. This will mean that, you remember I told you that it takes about a week or 2 to withdraw money from layer 2 to layer 1 on Ethereum. Well, this will actually speed it up. So it's not actually in minutes yet, we're just trying to get it down to a day. So this is still not done. I'm gonna put it in nice, actually I'm gonna put it in red. So that has not come in yet. Introduction of peer nodes. Peer nodes is something that can act as a regular node, can deploy it anywhere and anytime on a system to just help the network and be more proactive and be faster. This is just launching, is not introduced yet. Ranger system introduced end of Q2. You remember the Ranger system? That when you have the transaction that goes to a Ranger, then goes to validator, and then passed on to Ethereum as a layer 1. Well, that is not introduced yet either. They've testing it, but they have not introduced it as yet. Q2 or end of Q2 is where we expect it. Native NFT bridge is in development, so no NFTs for you yet. Polis is just starting. Polis is focusing right now on launching DAX. Is not fully fledged software yet either. NFT-based reputation power system. White paper yet to come. So this is not launched yet. Reputation power system, again, what we've talked about. The better your actions on chain, the more you are trustworthy, the more permissions you might have in the future. So all of these things are yet to be implemented. On one side of things, it's bad because we don't know how it's gonna go. On the other side of things, you now have an option to get in on this project before any of this happened. But this is not all. I think some of the juiciest bits are coming up yet. Now, other advantages of this project is the fact that 8 years ago, Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin introduced the concept of DAX. So he introduced it 8 years ago. Decentralized business that would run their entire operations on the blockchain. A lot of people focused on DAOs, especially these days, but not many people focusing on DAX. Today, Métis is building DAX with Buterin's vision. You see how Vitalik's name keeps coming up? And a lot more. Métis' vision of DAX is the hub of the Web3 economy, where every individual, team, group of similar minds, community, or small businesses can create their own decentralized enterprise and collaborate with others in the Web3 world. Web3 is something that's been a buzzword lately, but it looks like Métis is actually taking a step forward and creating it for people. And now one of the funniest part of it all is this. I'm sure you all know Vitalik, and this is his mother. She is also a founder of the Crypto Chicks community. She is also a co-founder of Métis DAO. And another lady who runs Métis DAO is Vitaliks' childhood friend. So yes, he's probably gonna help growing Métis in the future. And in saying that, he's been very proactive on the Métis DAO group page, and any questions or any concerns, he's actually pretty active there. So we can see his involvement in this project as well. So a couple of final thoughts on Métis DAO. First of all, retail investors don't really know about Métis. VCs and Wall Street don't really know about Métis either. New investors are scared of Métis or disregard it due to the high token price, which is roughly around $215 right now. New investors disregard it due to the high Ethereum gas fees, because who wants to pay gas fees on Ethereum, because they're stupidly high right now. Ironically, that is something that Métis is trying to solve. Looking at the price, I would say that price rallied recently from $60, $50 up to $314 before crashing with the Bitcoin. And we're currently sitting at about $125. And a lot of people not really sure what to make of it. Well, the reason why we went through the whole stage here is because they announced hackathon somewhere around here. And a lot of people, and that's something I saw myself, a lot of people who participated in hackathon are now making videos about Métis saying how profitable and how futuristic this project is. So all those developers and coders and hackers who went to break it and see if they can make money off of it, they actually start making videos and saying, hey, this is actually a cool project. We need to look into this. I actually bought myself some of the tokens and so on and so forth. So that's pretty encouraging. And then Bitcoin dropped, of course, and everything went down. So I personally think this is a great opportunity to get in, especially at such a low price. Now, again, this price can be discouraging, you know, $122. People think that it's pretty expensive. But the market cap is only $253 million, which is really, really low right now. If we look at here, market cap off, if Métis was at the market cap of a Phantom, it'll be at $2,448. It competes with Polygon. Let's have a look. Polygon. $5,211, 42x. AVAX. 67x. This is a potentially beast project that can make you, I mean, I didn't want to put in a title saying 60x or at the beginning, because I think that's, you know, that's a lot. There's a lot of things they need to prove before we get to that. But this has a really good potential, and I think this is one of my future biggest plays. I already invested, but I'm really excited to be on board, and everything I'm seeing so far is looking pretty good. The last thing I'm gonna leave you with is if you go on CoinMarketCap, and I hate gas fees, I hate Ethereum because it's so expensive. And if you look here, you can buy this token on Gate.io, Poloniex, SushiSwap, Uniswap, you name it. But what people don't know, if you actually can go to CoinGecko. And once you're on CoinGecko, you will find out that Métis actually has a Binance Smart Chain address as well. You can get it on PancakeSwap. You don't have to pay for the gas fees. You just pay BNB in gas fees. It's super cheap, and then you can bridge it from Binance Smart Chain to Andromeda Mainnet. And there is a lot of farming and staking opportunities that exist there as well. And with that said, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Hit the like and the subscribe button to share this video with as many people as possible so they know about this amazing project. If you want to get 20% off of your trading fees on KuCoin, hit the link in the description down below. I'll see you in the next one.